Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome to part 2 of my Rancho del Arroyo playthrough as we slowly go through the story and find what this map has to hold. If you like this kind of stuff, feel free to like and subscribe. Again, it helps build the channel. I'm not going to say it too often, but I will say it every once in a while. But yeah, it helps build the channel, so hope you guys enjoy this video. Alright, well, we'll go there. Since it doesn't matter, I just have to be in the area to get it.
I've worked a lot with conservation organizations from across the border. Animals and plants, ecosystems don't care about borders. Why should conservationists?
Conservation in the borderland. The vast majority, 68% of the land within Mexico's conservation area is not federally managed. Most land is either owned by ranchers or managed collectively as part of ejido or comunidad, two types of rural farming structures. This has necessitated a conservation strategy that differs from that taken across the border. Conservation groups buy up key habitats in northwest Mexico and pay landowners not to use the land for logging and grazing. Or lodging and grazing. Still, most conservation groups, yeah, it's logging. Still, most conservation groups active in the region recognize the necessity of cooperating across borders, and there are a number of organizations such as the Tucson, Arizona-based Sonoran Institute that operate nationally. Ooh. Oh. Oh, hello. Gotcha. I'll take it.
I'm not a bad teacher, no? Man, you're a pretty good pupil. My ambition is to make this the place to hunt pheasant in northern Mexico. If we can keep them this size, that shouldn't be a problem. Just gotta get the gringo tourists on board. They're a big money spinner, sure. But if that's what it takes to keep this place up and running, so be it. It's all for a good cause. Speaking of gringos, my cousin told me that she'd spotted some intruders with a US license plate going hog wild, shooting animals from, get this, from a hunting stand mounted to a pickup truck. My insurance doesn't cover them, and I doubt the hunting they're doing is particularly ethical. So can you keep a lookout? Gracias. did you notice how dry the land around the old cattle pasture was? Even compared to the rest of the ranch, I mean. The more cattle you cram into a small area, the less ground cover there is. Water just runs off the land instead of making it into the vegetation. My parents' generation dug wells and pumped out several times more water than rain in a year. When I told them my plans for this place, they weren't happy. Said I was selling out my inheritance. We haven't spoken much since. Of course, there are plenty of rancheros out here who graze their cattle responsibly. I just want to go in a different direction. I've tried explaining what they gain from it. They just wish me luck. But I've heard what they say behind my back. Chavita fresita. It's like, they're basically calling me a snob. They went to college in Mexico City, same as me. I just stayed a while after I graduated. Worked overseeing protected natural areas for CONANP. But back to business. Luckily for us, there's an easy solution to the groundwater problem. It just requires some more muscle on your part. I need you to set up a few gabions. They're wire mesh baskets you fill with rocks and place along the banks of the Arroyo to accumulate silt, which holds the water like a sponge so it can trickle back into the ground. The winter rains aren't as predictable as they used to be. You know, with climate change doing a number on us. So, the sooner, the better.
There we go. Just need more practice on it. think this is the right color.
In the North, traveling armies meant traveling families. Might as well take up arms. Most of them were every bit as qualified as the men.
Working women. Las soldaderas. Ooh. Soldaderas were women revolutionaries who made significant military and social contribution to the outcome of the Mexican Revolution. Some disguised themselves as men and took up arms. Petra Herrera, fighting as Pedro, led a brigade of 400 women to victory in the Battle of Torreon, much to the dismay of her commanding officer, Pancho Villa, who stripped her of her rank when he found out. Others engaged in more traditional gender work, nursing the wounded and preparing food for male soldiers. Although women gained citizenship rights in the with the 1917 Constitution, they weren't granted suffrage until 1953, and most of the women who had sacrificed so much during the revolution were expected to return to their roles as homemakers and caregivers following the end of the fighting. The legacy was immortalized in corridors with extolled their femininity and sexual desirability, such as La Adelita, a term which has come to synonymous with soldadera. More recently, some Mexican feminist groups have attempted to reclaim the iconography of las soldaderas.
The three C's: copper, cotton, cattle. We're gonna be dealing with their effects around here for a long time.
Extracting justice. Sonora has the dubious honor of being home to one of the largest open-air copper mines in the world, the Canania Copper Mine. The Canania Copper Mine. It has been in active operation since 1899. Ore from this mine is extracted using standard open-air mining techniques and refined elsewhere. A serious toxic spill occurred at the site on August 6, 1914, when 40,000 cubic meters of copper sulfate acid entered the Tinajas stream near the town of Canania. An initial report determined that the spill was caused by a burst pipe at one of the mine's tanks and a faulty valve at another. The site has hosted numerous strikes, the most famous of which occurred in 1906 when Mexican miners demanded to be paid the same as American counterparts. This social unrest prefigured the revolution that was to come just 4 years later. thank you guys so much for watching this episode. It is a bit of a short one, as we kind of, didn't get a whole lot done, and I wanted to leave it on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So, a bit of a short one, but on a cliffhanger. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Good times.